These are fates that anyone may face. According to the National Student Campaign Against Hunger and Homelessness, there are 35 million people that are homeless each year in the US, and over 46 million are living in poverty. Now, I know I'm speaking for all of us when I say that this isn't a future that we want for ourselves. So I'm here today to teach each and every one of you how to avoid this terrible fate. Create a budget and stick to it. According to Jeremy Vowinkle, founder of Generation X Financing, a personal budget helps to identify wasteful spending, track progress on financial goals, and keep the spender apprised of the limits to their money. This means that a budget is a tool of self-evaluation, of spending and financial planning. A budget helps you to allocate limits to each type of spending based on your regular income and fixed costs. A regular income is the money that you get at a predictable and reliable interval with a dependable minimum. While fixed costs are things like rent or mortgage, they're payments that have to be made no matter what. Without tracking this, you open yourself up to legal and emotional repercussions. A budget can take many forms. My favorite is the spreadsheet. It lays out all the information in an easy-to-track, easy-to-maintain format. You start with your expected income for a given period. Most people choose to use a month or 6 months or a year. Every piece of information on your spreadsheet should reflect the same time frame. Next should be a section on your fixed costs. You can see an example of this on the leftmost example. These are your home costs and the bills that you have to pay, like rent, utility, electricity. Next is your daily living. This contains things like groceries, essential clothing, hygiene products, the daily essentials. Your last section should contain your discretionary or frivolous spending. These will be the first things to cut when you risk exceeding your budget. Another good thing to plan is a set amount to put aside for savings. You never know when you'll need extra money for health emergencies, job loss, family emergencies. These are things you can't plan for, so you should always have some money tucked away just in case. There are many legal and emotional repercussions to debt. According to the IRS, the legal repercussions of debt are pretty simple. Having to pay more due to interest, being taken to court for collections, foreclosure, and repossession of your belongings. These take a toll on your costs, as you will have to replace at least some of the items, pay to cover court fees, and find a new place to live, if you can still afford it. The emotional ramifications of debt, according to America's Debt Help Association, is that debt can cause stress, depression, and discouragement. All of this makes a lot of sense, as we all know that stress leads to depression, and depression to discouragement. The stress is caused not only by all the extra tasks you have to complete due to the legal ramifications, but it's also connected to the feeling of failure that attaches itself to being in debt. Discouragement, or the lack of motivation, is wanting to give up because there's just so much that it feels too overwhelming. This can be increased or even caused by depression. I mean, can you imagine going broke? Having to borrow money from your family and friends? What about being foreclosed on? Having to move back in with your parents? This will be your fate if you do not start keeping track of your personal finances now. I urge you to start today, here, in this classroom. I'm going to ask you to pull out your computers and create an Excel file right now, just the framework. You don't know the numbers right off the top of your head, but you can create sections and name the file. Don't sabotage your future. Take control of your finances today. Thank you.